We're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into Jackson Arnold and his season. Just how bad has it been?
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Jay, we were talking earlier this week, and we were just kind of looking at some of the numbers on Jackson Arnold just to see what his season has been like, and went over to Pro Football Focus. And I'm gonna run through some of this, and you can react to it. So among Power 5 quarterbacks with 20% of the total dropbacks for the most dropbacks in the Power 4, I should say, not the Power 5, Jackson Arnold is 73rd in yards per attempt this season. 73rd.
It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be, if I'm going to be honest.
Out of 76 qualifying quarterbacks at 5.8 yards per attempt. That is not great. That signifies a dude that is not pushing the ball downfield. That signifies an offense that's not able to do much with what the quarterback's doing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
the only quarterback that has a lower yards per attempt than Jackson Arnold is Brock Glenn at Florida State. The only one. That means that DJ Uiagalelei has a higher yards per attempt than Jackson Arnold does.
Really? Ooh.
Can I give you another one?
Yeah. Please throw more stats at me. I'm kind of curious.
Average depth of target. This is how many yards down the field Jackson Arnold's targets go on average. 60th, tied for 60th in the nation at 8.1 yards per attempt. Not great. It's not great, but it is tied with Shedeur Sanders. It is better than Dillon Gabriel, and it's better than Quinn Ewers. So what does that tell us, Jay? That tells us that not only is Jackson Arnold not pushing the ball down the field, but his receivers aren't doing much whenever they do connect
at all. And it's like the offense isn't being shaped to where he can get rid of the ball quickly downfield. Like you said, he's higher than Quinn Ewers, but Quinn does a lot of check downs, dinking and dunks. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of creative plays. I mean, Sarkisian's pretty much a wizard right now when it comes to the way he runs his offense. He gets super creative in the stuff he does, and that's what you kind of got to do if you want to. If you're running into a situation where your quarterback is going to struggle, you need to make it easier for him, and that's basically what Sark has done. Can't be mad at him for that. But it is super interesting, though.
It's creating efficiency. They're creating efficiency for their quarterback. They're not making things so challenging. They're allowing them to throw bubbles. They're allowing them to throw the tunnel screens, the swing passes to the running back or the wide receiver coming out of the backfield. They're hitting the easy button for Quinn Ewers, for Dillon Gabriel, two really, really experienced quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders, he's right there with Jackson Arnold in average depth of target. These offensive coordinators are helping their quarterback out
a lot.
And then you go back to the yards per attempt number. So if Jackson Arnold's throwing the ball further down the field than Quinn Ewers and Dillon Gabriel, and as much as Shedeur Sanders, you'd think that he'd have a higher yards per attempt, but he's not been super accurate, and his wide receivers aren't doing much with it when they catch it. And we saw that this past week against the other part of that is the scheme is not creating opportunities for them to create completions in space. The only ones we're seeing are Bauer Sharp in the flat, catching balls for 0 or negative yards.
Yeah. Something that we probably should do less of. Yeah. So sorry. Here's
the next one. NFL passer rating. So this is the passer rating tool that the NFL uses. Pro Football Focus utilizes this as well. It includes everything that happens after the catch. So all of the yardage. It's not just what the quarterback creates, which is a more of a QBR rating. It doesn't allow the quarterback to get credit for yards after the catch. Well, Jackson Arnold is 48th among Power 4 quarterbacks. That's not great. 48th out of 76 qualifying Power 4 quarterbacks. Not good. He has taken the most sacks of the 76 Power 4 quarterbacks that qualify. He has the highest pressure to sack ratio in the Power 4. Who's number 2? Arch Manning.
Really?
That's
interesting. So, okay, the
maybe something about a young quarterback holding on to the ball too long.
Something about a young quarterback holding the ball too long. I mean, it's common trend, right? Even if you make it easier, it just kind of, happens. Now, I know one thing to kind of think about and consider also here is that the triple T, time to throw.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the 50% of the maximum drop backs or whatnot, and our guy rates, where are you? Number 29, 2.85.
Which is pretty solid.
It's actually pretty solid. Noah Fafita's number 1 at 3.24, and he's been abysmal this season. But yeah, he's got a lot more time than you really think. It's just the physical motion of doing this.
Yes,
I think that will help him. Just if it hits somebody's feet, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But just the physical motion will help, I think, long term for Jackson Arnold. Sometimes you just gotta get rid of the ball. It's okay. Everything ain't gonna work out perfectly. Just boom, 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 bow. See what happens.
And some of this is on the offensive coordinators too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
create some things that get the ball out of his hands quickly, and he has no choice in the matter.
Yeah,
the design is the wide receiver screen. You're throwing the wide receiver screen. There's no option. There's no RPO. There's no read. You're throwing it, and we have to get out there and block it. But you're throwing the ball, and that's your only job on this play. That's your only thought is get the ball quick, get it out of my hands quick. Let JJ Hester, Brennan Thompson do something with it quickly. I have no option in this matter. Final one I want to throw at you here. Deep passing attempts. He's 48th. Obviously not great. And then deep pass completion percentage. So this is the completion percentage on balls thrown greater than 20 yards down the field is 21.4. That is tied for 68th. There are only 3 quarterbacks in the Power 4 that have a lower completion percentage on throws greater than 20 yards. Marcel Reed of Texas A&M, noted running quarterback with very little experience. Alan Bowman of Oklahoma State, a guy that will be selling cars or insurance somewhere next year. And Ja'Cory Brown of UCF.
Oh, wow.
So not only is he not throwing it down the field very much, but he and his wide receivers are having a really, really hard time connecting on balls down the field. And this is not all to just dump on Jackson Arnold.
No,
and I know it sounds like that. This is to dump on me a little bit because I've sat on this show on a number of occasions and talked about the talent that I see in Jackson Arnold. And I think there is talent there. It's not coming to fruition for whatever reason. There's a lot of reasons. We don't need to name them all. We've done it a number of times on this show.
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold has to be better. The offensive game plan around him has to be better. And the talent around him has to be better. Now, the injuries have killed the talent part of that. Your offensive coordinators have not helped your quarterback. And your quarterback has not helped himself. And that's why we have an offense at Oklahoma that is as bad as it's been this year.
Yeah, that's the thing that we've got to do better on. It's the we just got to make it easier for him. And that's where the new offensive coordinator comes in. That's why we talked about it in the first segment. We know that that's coming down the line. That's what we got to do better. And I think we will. I think the next hire will bring us a guy that's going to be creative enough to at least get us over the hump next season, which is the only thing that matters in my personal opinion. Just keep me over the hump, and I think I'm good.
Mm-hmm. And if it's Jackson Arnold or it's Michael Hawkins, whoever it is, you've got to do something to make that quarterback job easier. I don't care if they're an NFL talent, a future first-round pick or not. Make your quarterback's job simple. Make it easy for him. That's your job as the offensive coordinator. It's not to design an offense that's so complicated that defenses can't figure it out. If I don't care how complicated it is. If the quarterback can't run it and he can't run it efficiently, it needs to be scrapped. And again, this isn't all on the offensive coordinators, but there is a part of this that they are responsible for as well. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. We just hit 9,000. Thank you so much again for subscribing. Tell a friend, tell a family member, share it on your socials to subscribe to Locked On Sooners. Go give us a 5-star review over on Apple. It helps other people find out about the show as well. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube as well. Follow me at John 9 Williams. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all your social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is you do to get the social media fix. We are there. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll catch you then. Boomer.
Sooner.